vacancies were good and I have a direct contact there. So for that also I'm and the best part going in that form is like I will be not restricted to audits, or I will be getting other field exposure also. So that is why I'm appearing for that.
Okay. Like in JP Morgan, your interview schedule when?
31st, so day after tomorrow.
What are the things that you have studied so far for this?
Sir, I have a sheet of finance questions. I am going through those questions and I am going through the tools of valuation and ratio analysis. And I am also, sir, there are various kind of cash and conversion cycles that they can ask in the interview, and budgeting, forecasting, financial modeling questions. So I'm going through that, and also audit questions as it is.
Could you please share in the group once?
Yes, sir.
Once we will go through that. ग्रुप में शेयर करिए। पल्लव गुप्ता, आपने क्या क्या कर लिया अभी तक?
1 सेकेंड, आई थिंक किसी को पर्सनली चले गया, ये पता नहीं किसका नंबर। एक
कोई
मिनट
दिक्कत
सर।
नहीं। हाँ, आप करिए इतना देर से। पल्लव गुप्ता, आप क्या 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 हो गया अभी तक? पल्लव गुप्ता,
हेलो,
आवाज आ रही है पल्लव गुप्ता? हाँ बोलिए, क्या क्या हो गया आपका?
यस
क्या बाकी रह गया?
यस
हो जाना चाहिए सब कुछ। हाँ,
सर, इंडिया से मतलब अभी मैंने कर लिया है, बट डीपली नहीं हुआ है। मतलब आई एम नॉट कॉन्फिडेंट अबाउट द इंडियस राइट नाउ।
ठीक
बाकी
है।
असर्शंस हो गए हैं, कारो अमेंडमेंट्स, शेड्यूल थी अमेंडमेंट्स, वो सारे हो गए हैं। मतलब जैसे अभी उन्होंने आपने जो क्वेश्चंस मुझे किए थे, उसमें से लाइक इंडियस 21, इंडियस 23, वो भी नहीं करे हैं मैंने। मतलब उस पर ज्यादा फोकस नहीं कर रही थी मैं, 115 पे फोकस कर रही थी मेजरली, जो आपने बताए थे पहले। तो वो अभी रहते हैं मेरे, मतलब जो 23 है, 21 हो गए इंडियस वो।
गुड। प्रियंका जैन, आपका? अब जो जो प्रिपेयर करिएगा वो ग्रुप में डालिएगा ना। कोई नोट्स बनाया तो पल्लव गुप्ता आपने एक बार।
यस
प्रियंका
सर,
जैन,
यस।
हाँ सर,
आपका क्या क्या हो गया?
मैंने assertions overall materiality और amendment schedule ठीक है, और कारो, फिर O2C, B2P एंड SOX testing and कैश बैंक ऑडिट, डिफरेंस बिटवीन
नोट्स बना रहे हैं
IBS
आप?
एंड IFRS।
नोट्स बना रहे हैं आप? नोट्स
हाँ, पूरे नोट्स सबके, मतलब टॉपिक वाइज ही नोट बनाया है। आपने आज ये
ग्रुप में
टॉपिक
डालिएगा,
लिया,
ग्रुप में डालिएगा।
सब
ठीक है,
पूरा
ग्रुप,
PDF बना के भेज दूं?
ठीक है, हाँ ग्रुप में डालिएगा जो भी है आपका। दीपक मंत्री,
सर मैंने आज स्टार्ट करा था सर। मेरा असर्शन और
नोट्स नहीं बना रहे हो?
सर बना रहे हैं assertion, materiality, performance materiality and walk through और P2P, O2C and
गुड। तो फ्रेंड क्या कर रहा है? ऋतिक जैन, बात हुआ है?
नहीं सर, बात नहीं हुआ उससे अभी।
तो बात करके हमको बताइएगा क्या हो रहा है। ठीक है, ठीक है, ओके।
ओके।
दीपांशु मलिक,
यस सर। सर
पल्लव ग्रुप में
कल तो
डालिएगा, जो
मतलब
जैसे
आज
बोल दिया ना मैंने। पल्लव गुप्ता आप ग्रुप में डालिएगा जो जो बनाए ना। हाँ बोलिए। हाँ जी
यस
सर। हाँ सर, जो कल आपने सर क्लास में करवाया था वो सारा एक बार रिवाइज करा था, और उसके अलावा सर वन 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 वो टीपी वाला इंडेक्स किया था, और एक
हाँ।
बोरिंग कॉस्ट वाला उसके नोट्स भी बनाए
और
अभी।
अभी जो मैंने क्वेश्चन डाला था ये वो सब कंप्लीट कर दिए। इंडेस 115, इंडेस 21, इंडेस 23 अभी पूछ रहे हैं सब इंडेस से। हो
23
जाएगा।
कर लिया, 23 पूरा कर लिया, 21 रह
हाउ
रहा
विल
है
यू
सर।
ऑडिट द डिस्काउंट एंड इन एप्लीकेबिलिटी हिस्टोरिकल रेट और क्लोजिंग रेट इंडेस 23? ठीक। हर्ष अग्रवाल।
तो कल जो आप कराए थे वो रिवाइज कर रहा है बस।
और कुछ नहीं किया?
नहीं सर, अभी स्टार्ट नहीं हुआ।
रिवाइज में तो टाइम नहीं लगना चाहिए मेरे हिसाब से, और एफर्ट डालना पड़ेगा, बिकॉज इतना स्लो जाने से नहीं होगा। बस कंपटीशन बहुत ज्यादा है, तो यू नीड टू बी स्पीड अप योर प्रोसेस। ओके, जो क्वेश्चंस मैं डाल रहा हूँ, जो क्वेश्चंस कोई भी डाल रहा है, वो क्वेश्चन आपको भी पूछा जाएगा, राइट? तो क्वेश्चंस का आंसर चाहिए, जो भी क्वेश्चन डाला जा रहा है, जो भी चीज हो रहा है, उसका आंसर चाहिएगा। ठीक है, ठीक है। आई नीड सम एफर्ट्स, ओके, एट योर एंड। ठीक है, एक बार आस्था से हम एक बार देखते हैं आस्था गुजराती का क्या क्या आपने प्रिपेयर किया, एक बार स्टार्ट कर लेते हैं। ठीक है, गुड। ये तो हम भी डाले थे वैसे आस्था। ठीक है, ओके, गुड। ये आपने गोल्डमैन सैक के लिए पढ़ा, राइट आस्था?
यस सर, गोल्डमैन सैक एंड जेपी मॉर्गन ऑल्सो सर। और मैक्वेरी के लिए भी एक रेफरेंस मिल गया था सर मुझे मेरे कांटेक्ट में, तो अभी मैंने अप्लाई किया है। सो ही वाज लाइक कि मंडे तक कॉल आ सकता है, तो
ओके,
मैंने उसके लिए भी प्रिपरेशन चालू कर दी है।
मुझे थोड़ा एक वो भेजिएगा ना, जो भी आपका आ रहा है ना, मेरे को पर्सनली भेजिएगा, तो हम लोग इकट्ठा कर रहे हैं, तो बाद में आके हेल्प हो जाएगा सबको। ठीक है, जो भी आपका।
यस सर।
ठीक है, ठीक है। आपको क्वेश्चन मैं पूछता हूँ, व्हाट इज क्रेडिट डिफॉल्ट स्वैप?
Sir, credit default swap, I guess it is something. Swapping is done when a particular person is uh, exchanging some kind of instrument or financial thing with another party, and when a creditor is doing a default, so the swapping is done to, I guess, to ensure it from the default of the creditor.
आप लोग नोट करते जाएगा जो जो क्वेश्चन है, ठीक है सब जन। मैं किसी को पूछ सकता हूँ वापिस। ओके, व्हाट इज डेरिवेटिव?
So derivatives are the underlying assets whose values are derived on the basis of commodities, stocks, currency, gold, and whatever the precious metals or ornaments are there. Depending upon that, also the derivatives instruments are being valued. So it does not have its own existence, but its value can be accessible on the basis of some underlying asset.
व्हाट इज ऑप्शन ट्रेडिंग?
Sir, option trading is a kind of an option which is bifurcated into a put option and call option, which is being purchased by a particular person, which gives him a right to avail it on his convenience. And if the prices are going upwards or downwards in the favorable direction, the can avail that option. And the put option is a right to sell the stock or the commodity, and the call option is a right to buy the particular commodity.
Okay, what is the difference between future contract and forward contract?
Okay, so basically, forward contract is a contract between two parties where the price and the time of the transaction is decided prior, and the transaction takes place in the future. But the only differentiation between the forward and the future contract is that the forward contract does not have a regulatory body, and the future contract have a regulatory body upon it. So the legality of both the thing is a difference, because the future contract is more uh, a regular one on which is on the exchange board, and the forward contract is not in the exchange board. It is a customized contract between the parties. So this is the main difference.
What is discounted cash flow method?
So discounted cash flow method is a technique to get a value as on the present date, where the future cash flows are pulled at the discounting rate. For example, we take it as a 10% rate, and we estimate what are the cash flows which are going to be generated by a company in future. For example, for the 5 years. So if there is 100, 120, 150 kind of cash flow for 5 years, so we pull it with a discounting rate of 10%, and we get a present value of that stock.
What is repo rate and reverse repo rate?
So repo rate is something when the commercial bank or nationalized bank take a borrowing from the RBI which is generally what I read is 8.4, 8.5%, and reverse repo rate is vice versa of that when the RBI is borrowing some money from the commercial bank or nationalized bank. So that is 5 point something percent. I'm not sure, but it is always less than the repo rate.
Okay, what made you join out here? Means why you're interested in this particular profile at JP Morgan?
Sir, I am always willing to go in the finance industries, and because my interest is calling for that, and also as a chartered accountant also, I feel that I can grow in JP Morgan, and the culture I will get to groom up professionally. So it is also a personal agenda to be there, and also I look as a professional for a growth. So that is why I am looking forward to have an opportunity in JP Morgan.
Okay, how was your articleship experience?
Sir, my articleship experience was in internal audit and statutory audit. I've also have experience in transfer pricing and GST profile. Uh, in internal audit profile, I have done audit of listed companies, corporate and non-corporate clients. In stat audit also, I have done audits of IT companies, manufacturing and beverages industries. And for the GST, I have done GST audits and GST returns for corporate, non-corporate, proprietor, and partnership firms, and concurrent audit also of UCO Bank.
Okay, give me an example of one sector that you have done the audit, okay, and what are the major observations in that audit that you found out?
Yes, sir. Sir, major observation I have seen in the IT industry for which I was doing the audit. So I observed that there was lack of segregation of duties because one person who is making the purchase entries is also making the entries for the receipt of the payments. So that was a kind of lacking thing, and also the documentation were not proper for the allocation of duties and for the processes in the company. And the same was the observation in manufacturing industries also, because the person who is making the purchase order is the same person who is receiving the invoices and making the journal entry. So the segregation of duties principle was not followed, and the controls and policies that were in the companies, even the minor control and procedures were not documented. So there was like not proper assertions which were there to check the reliability of the particular thing and to see the materiality level there.
Okay. In days 109, okay, expected credit loss. Do you know about it?
Yes, sir. Sir, I know a little bit about expected credit loss. So there is a certain kind of percentage which is expected for a particular instrument that is going to happen in the future or like in the upcoming days. So there is a provisioning for that. So it is like, for example, a 5% expected loss is analysis by the company. So they will make a provision according to that.
What do you think about the job description? What is the role that you need to play out here?
Sir, it is a kind of an operational role what I am being communicated right now, and after the interview only the main line of the service I will be allocated. So I think whatever the field is going to be allocated to me from the JP Morgan, it will be a very drastic field where I have to give lots of efforts and lots of work time also. So whatever the field I'm going to be, I will try to give my best and I will try to learn it thoroughly.
Are you comfortable working long hours?
Yes, so I think long hours are really beneficial in the initial stage. So even if there is long hour, I know eventually it is going to make me stronger as a professional only. So I'm ready for it.
Even in weekends, late hours like 2 p.m., 3 p.m., are you comfortable with that? Traveling?
So as far as I have a mental peace, I am okay with the job. And once it is getting disturbed, so I will think about it. So.
Clarify what is mental peace for you.
Sir, if I'm happy with my work, even if it is being 2, 3 at the night and I'm not happy, so it is going to disturb me. But I am happy in giving long hours and it is going to be productive for me. So time doesn't matter.
When you do a job, you might get some monotonous work also at the same time. So how will you deal with that? It's not that you will learn everything in very 6 month period or 1 year. You might be allocated to one client. So how will you deal with that?
Sir, I guess monotonous work will give me a specialization and perfection in a particular area. So even if it is getting bored like sometimes, so I will think that like it is 6 months or 1 year on a particular client or particular work. So um, like for a time being, I will try to convince myself that okay, I'm getting so much perfection and specialization for the particular client, and I know everything about it. But when I feel like my growth is stopped somewhere, I will approach my manager to give me a kind of a challenging and a work where I can learn more. Like whatever I have learned is enough now, so I want some growth in my life, in my work. So I will approach my manager and my senior authority for that if it is getting monotonous and bored at the same time.
Why do we hire you?
Sir, I guess I can make a differentiation from the other candidates who are applying for this job, because I guess I am like there are many people who can compete me in the work, but there is something which is called behavior and the dedication I can give to the organization. So I overlap those candidates in that thing. So I think apart from the professional things and the qualification I have as a chartered accountant and what my IQ level says, I can also cater as a good employee and a dedicated um, professional to the company.
What's your greatest weakness?
Sir, over the like past 6, 7 months, I guess I am a little bit of impatient and I become very anxious. But I am working upon it. I do like meditation and therapy. So I guess that is going to benefit me in the long run, and I am improving upon my weakness. So as such, I don't think the weakness is a barrier in any kind of work that I do, because I know my weakness and I'm working upon it day by day.
And what is your greatest strength?
So that I manage the work pressure very nicely. I
Give an
can't
example.
make it any kind of excuse. Sir, the biggest example is in our articleship only, because like there was a conflict in the leaves for which I was getting for the CA final exam. So before joining the firm, they told me 5.5 month leave were to be given for the final attempt, but they gave 4 months and they made our batch stay for the 1.5 month more. So I thought that 4 months are really not sufficient for giving the both group appearance. So I started studying from this like prior to 6 months only before my attempt, and I was working for the articleship firm also. So that was the phase I did audit also. I used to study for my final group also. So there was lot of pressure on me that time. So this was the example that how I managed the pressure, and I cleared both groups also.
What is the difference between mutual fund and hedge fund?
So mutual fund is a third party platform where an investor go through a mutual fund, and the mutual fund is someone who invest in the stock exchange on the behalf of the investor. And hedge funding, I think it is a kind of a to protect an investor from hedging himself from the loss,
You
and
need to check
to
this answer. Check this answer. Okay. This need to
yes, sir.
be improved. Okay. Mutual fund and hedge fund. What is the difference? How will you calculate an NAV of a mutual fund?
Sir, it can be all the earnings that the mutual fund is giving to the investor, and the closing price upon the initial investment, I guess.
Okay. You need to improve on this.
So I will go through this question. So yes.
Do you invest in stock market?
Yes, sir, I do.
Which stocks you have invested?
Sir, right now I have invested in mutual funds. It was of Mirai, and it was of Axis Prudential. And before that, I mutual funds are going on SIP basis, and I also do IPO, but I don't do intraday, sir, because I think there is
Which stocks you
like
invest into?
analysis thing.
Which stocks you invest into?
Sir, I invest in long-term
Which
stocks.
stocks? Name?
Sir, sir, I am not investing in directly to the stocks, but I'm
Mutual
having
fund.
an SIP.
In
Yes,
mutual
sir.
fund.
So stocks including, yes, sir, there is a Reliance, there is MRF Tire,
So you're investing in mutual fund, not
there's
individual stocks.
Infosys. Yes, sir, not individual. I'm going through mutual fund route, sir,
Because you
right
cannot
now at
invest in
least.
MRF. MRF is 50,000-60,000, I guess.
Sir, there is, sir, in mutual fund only,
Mutual
there
fund,
is a part
right?
of MRF.
Yes,
Yes, sir,
right,
through
right.
mutual fund. So they have
Okay,
a portfolio.
what made you bought Mirai Asset mutual fund? What are the parameters you thought
Uh,
about invested in mutual fund like
yes, sir.
Mirai Asset? Yeah.
Yeah. So I started Mirai Mutual Fund SIP 1.5 years back. And that time I was going through my subject of DT. So there was a faculty, CA Bhavar Borana. So he was suggesting some good mutual fund where the beginners can start with. So that is how I came to know about this mutual fund. And I also YouTubed it and research on my basis. So I
What
evaluated that
research
the
you did?
portfolio
What
they are
research you did
consisting of.
actually? I wanted to know what are the parameters you selected while selecting a mutual fund.
Yes, so sir, first of all, I checked the portfolio. What are the stocks they are involved in? What are the stocks are involved in this mutual fund? I also saw what is the yearly return they are giving me. So it was something. I think yearly return was 56% that time.
Okay.
And if I am investing for like a monthly basis, like proportionately basis also there, so I evaluated, yeah, like if I'm going to start my SIP, I started with the 500 rupees and now my SIP is of 3,000 rupees. So as I came to know that yes, this is going to be giving me benefit in the future, so this is how I
So
increased my SIP
you
amount
saw only the
also.
return of a mutual fund and you invested, right? You saw the return of in
Yes, so on
1
the
year.
basis of return, on the basis of
That is
portfolio
not the
also,
right
so
way to
stocks
invest in
which they are
mutual fund.
consisting.
What are the other parameters which you should be investing? You should think while investing into a mutual fund. If you have any idea on that.
Yes, so we see the return on equity ratio. We see the various kind of the ratio of the company, like EPS, like uh, what are the debt uh, and the equity ratio of the company.
What is RP and trainer ratio?
Sir, Sharp ratio is, I think,
It's a very important
risk
ratio
of
while
the
selecting a mutual fund, RP ratio, trainer ratio, and Jensen alpha. These three ratios are very important while you select a mutual fund, RP ratio, trainer ratio, and Jensen alpha. So if you are investing, if you're going for a wealth management role or something like that, this question can be asked. Okay. RP ratio, trainer ratio, Jensen alpha. Very important. What are the parameters you will select while selecting a mutual fund? So these three answers will be there.
Yes, sir.
RP, trainer, आपका Jensen alpha. Practically what it is when much asked. Okay. You should be knowing. Okay. Also the past
Yes, sir.
history of the who is the fund manager, what is the experience of the fund manager, how old the fund manager is, whether he has seen the past 10 years of history, whether he has seen the downturn market also. So those things you need to check. And who is the fund manager of the mutual fund that you have invested into? That is very important. What is his
Yes, sir.
qualification? So these things you need to know about. Okay. Okay. What you have an idea about the global economy right now? Okay. The what is your take on that? India and US. What is the take on
Uh,
that? Hmm.
Sir, as per the current scenario, I have seen that there is a lot of impact of recession. The Google and the other IT industries are laying off their employees, and the people are really worried for the recession thing. But this is uh, this is going to be taking time to recover the economy. But as the finance market, the post-COVID thing is is really improved, because in the COVID time, the stock market has really fallen down, and post that, it is coming up with a great returns to the investor. So, like, as per my judgment and what I have seen in the current trend, so the economy is on a moderate path, I think, because there is one side recession also, there is one side good returns in stock market also. So I think it is a moderate kind of culture right
What are
now
the
in the
reasons for
economy.
this recession coming? What are the three important reasons you think for this recession?
Sir, I think their recession mainly happens due to the GDP. Yes, sir, because the GDP is the criteria for growth of the world, and I guess there is a lot of loss happened in the COVID era, and most of the businesses were hampered by that. So I think the GDP has fallen in the past 2-3 years, and now the effect is coming up by the way of recession.
COVID is already 3 years, I think, now. Any other reason? Important reason for the recession? You need to learn this, okay? They might ask you, okay, who are the competitors of JP Morgan? And what is the business model of JP Morgan?
So the competitors I see right now are the Morgan Stanley, Macquarie, HDFC Bank, and
What are the various services JP Morgan deals with?
so JP Morgan deals with commercial banking, private equity, investment banking, asset and wealth management,
Okay, what is
and
private equity
portfolio
accounting?
services.
What is private equity accounting?
So I will go through this question soon.
What is hedge fund accounting? What is fund accounting? Okay, these are the very important questions
Yes,
you
sir.
need to go through. Fund accounting, private equity accounting. What is financial modeling?
So financial modeling is a way of how a particular analysis is being made on a financial statement and how the prediction is being done. So we have to go through analysis and how a person can forecast or predict a growth of a company by seeing its financial statement. So this whole process and this whole structure is coming under the financial modeling thing.
What are the reasons for the failure of startups?
Sir, if I talk about India, there is lot of mindset of a people in terms of like they feel that if they have a secure job and if they have a good earning, so they are satisfied by that. No one is coming up with the great ideas, and no one is pushing someone who is coming with the great ideas. So I think like one-to-one support is the problem why startups are not growing this much in India. But when we see the other countries, US and UK, the people are coming forward and their mind are running for the startup idea, and people are also supporting. So I think there is a leg pulling thing in India. I think that is because money is not the problem in India, only the support is problem for the startups, I guess.
Any other reason?
So the youth generations are not like they are more going towards the job profile, because they feel that all wants the good packages right now, so no one is gonna compromise their packages and sacrifice it for doing their own thing. They think like 5-6 year we make a good wealth and then we go for the startup. So that is why the time is taking too much for this thing.
Say in this answer, like the startups are basically nowadays more on fundraising. They are basically more focused on raising funds rather than they are not focused on knowing the customer needs, requirements of the customer, what are the needs and requirement of the customer, and how we can better suit their needs and requirements. So understanding the consumer behavior is very important. Most of the startups fail in this consumer behavior and they're competing with each other. Like Zomato and Swiggy, they're competing with each other rather than trying
Yes,
to make something very distinguished product, so that they are not able to have a competitive, they are not competing with each other and make a very competitive advantage,
so
have
the
some competitive
this
advantage.
for example Yeah, Zomato and Swiggy are trying to compete themselves, and
Yes.
they're trying to establish a monopoly market. And rather than
Having some
satisfying the customer
distinguishing
need, they are
features,
trying
yes,
to
features should be distinguishing. That is very important. Like Zerodha has grown so high, Upstock has not been, or other brokers are not able to do, because Zerodha has some special features that way people still get into Zerodha, is not raise the funds also. So these questions also you should be very good at. Okay, they might ask you what are the reason for failure of startup, what are the things that they should be doing when fund accounting, private equity accounting, NAV of mutual funds, mutual fund versus hedge funds. So these are the things, hedge funds calculations, they might ask you, fiscal policy, monetary policy, you should be knowing. Ind AS 115 is very, very important. They might ask you in Ind AS 115, FBTPL, FBTCI, and your amortized cost when they are recognized. And this and Ind AS 109. So these are the questions you should be very importantly doing well. Okay, I think your preparation needs to be much more stronger, which will be done. You need to do much more questions because you've prepared yourself from much more of an accounting profile point of view, but you need to be much more stronger. I think it will be done. Overall, it was good. The thing is that you need to improve on the economics part, okay, like global economics, stock market, mutual funds. So these are the current affairs knowledge is little bit lacking. So that needs to be improved. Also, what are the recent frauds which has come? So they might ask you what are the recent fraud, Adani fraud, this fraud. They might ask you questions on Adani. Whether they ask about the Adani business model. So learn about those things also. In this sort of questions, they might ask you Adani business model or something like that. The recent reports, whatever has come. So make sure that your current affairs is very strong. Okay, because the bookish knowledge is good enough. Your article series done been great, but they might ask you in this front also how good you are in current affairs. Okay. Any question do you like to have from us?
Sir, what will be the challenges that I'm going to face in the organization, and what will be the expectation of the company from my side?
The challenges that you will face is that people will be here in our firm. That will be people from different cultures, okay, different behavior, different cultures. So that is first challenge that you have to face. That you need to adjust with the culture of the different backgrounds. Okay, the first challenge is this. The second challenge is that if you are coming from a small city, then there will be some behavior shift. Okay, so those you need to make sure that your team spirit is very important, because we believe in team spirit and leadership skill, because execution everybody can do. We can train everybody to do the execution part, but we need somebody to become a leader later on. So we need a person who is good in team spirit. So that is the most important thing. For example, a food is shared. For example, somebody has brought a tiffin, okay, and he is not sharing the food with others because he thinks that this person should not share. So that should not be there. Team spirit is something which is the biggest challenges in individual faces, because every company would like to have a person who is very good, very strong with team spirit, and he can take the team together. Okay, he can has the ability to get the things done from others, rather than doing the work at its own end. And next challenge that you will face is that we need somebody to work smarter, not harder. We need somebody to work very smart to develop new ways to do the same activity at a less time than the others. So these are the two challenges. Expectation from us is only this only. These are the three things that you need to improve: work smarter and develop that team spirit and take the team together in the long term. I think it was great.
Sure, sir.
I will get back to you, and it was great. Okay, ठीक है. तो I think इंटरव्यू समझ में आया आप लोगों को, किस तरीका से इस तरीका का सवाल आप लोग को पूछ सकता है. तो you need to prepare well. Okay, पलक गुप्ता का हम इसके बाद लेके आस्था गुजराती good, well done. I think it was good, and I think आपको भी थोड़ा सा टेंशन हो रहा होगा, but you did well. Okay, great.
Yes,
इसमें
sir.
आ जाएगा ऑफिस से आप लोग सब जन. ठीक है, थैंक यू सो मच. हाँ, सेम मीटिंग में आ जाएगा, पलक गुप्ता का लेके.